Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer Trial Issue 2 comparison. We all know, or might not know actually, but Hachette Partworks like to run trial runs of their magazines. So for Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer, they advertised it, and everyone who signed up eventually went, oh, the trial's over, we'll let you know when we start in it. And then they sent out all the magazines. And then later on, it actually became an actual run. So clearly they had enough interest in the trial issues to go, right, we'll do a run. And then as you can see from the last issue, they've obviously worked in it a bit to make it more suitable, or just improved on it. I had issue 1, there's no point in that. Doing some research, I found out there was up to 4 issues again, which they sent out to trial, but they sent different issues to different people who participated in the trial. Looking around, I've managed to get details of the trial issue 2, from what I can find. So I'm just going to run through a quick comparison here between trial issue 2 and the actual issue 2, just so you can see some of the stuff they changed, anything they've added or removed, and just kind of try and work out how they've made it better, made it worse, made it the same, I don't know. So, starting off with the cover and then to the contents. Obviously you can see the Phandalin guy is now gone, that's become Player Rogue instead, and actually the Phandalin lore is not even in this issue, it's now the Forgotten Realms lore. Before we had halflings in the trial, which they've obviously now changed to humans. Makes slightly more sense as humans are the generally first thought of race, I guess. And apparently the adventure is still king under the hill. It looks like in the trial there's just one name per adventure for all the encounters, I guess. Unless that's wrong, we'll find out. We move on to spellcasting, which you can see actually had its own section. Spellcasting was a purple section, which doesn't exist anymore. That got cut out and just merged with the red section. Not entirely sure why, but maybe they didn't have enough spellcasting to fill the entire 80 issues, and it just made more sense to keep it in with the Sage advice. We've previously had, it did explain about casting spells using higher slots. I'm assuming that will be covered when we have higher slots available, because currently we don't. And this is one of the things I think where they kind of improved it. They've trimmed out all the stuff you don't need to know now, and they've brought it in later. So they've less complicated it for new people who haven't really done it before. And possibly also it's just giving them a bit more stuff to bulk up later issues rather than wasting it now. For that, we've got some bits of flavour text. Also, when you get to the rituals, the box no longer says 11 minutes. It now says 10 minutes, which is correct. 11 minutes was incorrect. Probably a typo. And if we look back to the character sheets in the issue 1 where they got that wrong, it's probably fixing this ritual typo. Well, no. In the character sheets, they fixed the ritual typo, but got the dwarf's HP wrong. Some copy and paste error. We also had listed the spell slots you could use up to 5th level. They've now been removed. Again, I think it's the same reason as before. You don't have any of those yet. You don't need to worry about it yet. You've got ages to think about those. The character creation, and as we already knew, the halfling's been removed and it's been replaced with a human. Then we go to rogues. This section is mostly the same. There's some minimal changes, such as they changed it from rogue abilities to rogue features. Now we're back on to advantage, disadvantage and inspiration. So the book order is different in the trial than it is in the actual issue. But as I've said, I think it's because they had the spellcasting before and that's gone. So now Sage Advice has become the main first section, because it looks like Sage Advice is going to be all the rules, basically what you need to know to play. In the Potion of Advantage as well, they did have a reference to another source book, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. That's been removed. There's another previous source book's been removed. The theory is either they've removed the source books because they're taking a lot of information, probably from other source books, and putting them all in, so there's no need to mention where they come from, because rather than just give you all the basic stuff you get in the player's manual, throughout the 80 issues you might get some extra source book stuff thrown in, which will make it slightly more worth it than just giving you all the stuff you could just buy one book for. But then the other thing could be, just in a later issue, they'll bring it up again and go, oh, okay, here's a little tidbit. If you want more information, go out and buy this source book. You have to go get it. Wait and see for that one anyway. Also, for inspiration, they've removed the DM top tip, which was discussing the life play double disadvantage. They removed bardic inspiration details from the bottom. Again, yeah, they've taken out something you don't need to know now. We'll bring it in later when it makes more sense, or when it's more relevant. On the resting and hit dice section, this is kind of the first time in this magazine the art's had a major change from the first one, apart from the front cover art. You also see there's a bit more explanation about resting in game time. Here in the trial we had all the Phandalin lore, which all got moved to issue 1. They added a town map, but otherwise it's basically the same info. And also earlier, I forgot to mention, but it said every quest starts in Phandalin. It's not there now, so I'm not sure if that's still the case or not. Not sure yet. Anyway, now we go into the adventure, and it is the Forgotten Vault this issue, like it was before. So obviously the contents page is just a typo. This adventure is still the same to start with. Nicely, they've now added a key for the stairs and the doors and the vault map, which makes it a bit easier if you're uncertain of the maps. Inside the false treasury, there used to originally be one full-size mimic, which obviously was replaced by 4 juvenile mimics in the actual magazine. We'll get back onto the mimic in a second, because some other stuff, it used to tell us just the weight of the statue, then obviously now we know the weight of the statue and how much weight you can carry, because otherwise before it just goes, there's a really heavy statue, whatever. Quickly looking at all the monster blocks, the challenge stats been removed again. I feel like, similar to the experience, it's not something you really need to know or worry about. If you're taking it out, either they'll just never include it because all the encounters are pre-generated, so it doesn't matter, or they'll start to include it on the references once you get to a point in the magazine where they talk about it. Probably there'll be a bit where like, I'll create your own dungeons. Maybe issue 80. So the animated armor's had its anti-magic susceptibility removed. That shouldn't matter because I don't think it actually will apply. So again, they've just cut out something you don't need to know. The mimic changes kind of make sense. And they do give you advice it's going to be a difficult opponent. Originally in the trial, they did used to say, if it kills a party member, just have it slither away or ignore them. They did expect it to kill someone, and I'm not surprised that it would. Its general bite attack did 11 damage. That would like one-shot any of your pre-generated first level characters straight away. Now you've got your juveniles, they only do 3 damage per bite, so you can take a couple more bites before you go down. And even though there's 4 of them, they only activate 1 at a time when you touch your items. So unless you're running around a room literally like flipping your hands at everything, you'll probably touch one, fight it, touch the next, fight it. You might not even get past the first one if you're smart enough to clock on. There's also different stat bots between the two. The adult mimic's got more strength, but he's got lower stats than the juveniles. He's also got the adhesive, whereas they can spider crawl. I'm assuming it's different because one's an adult and one's a juvenile. I'm not going to look into that too much in a minute. From that, the only other thing is, I don't think the trial issue came with the map that the main issue came with. I've not seen it anywhere. All I've seen is it came with some dice. Apparently I've heard there might be a slightly different colour than what actually came, but I'm not sure if that's just whatever lighting or camera's been used to take pictures or videos of the dice compared to the dice I've got now. Mainly because it's hard to find. I couldn't find that much info in this. I've got even less on issue 4 and I've got barely anything in issue 3. Yeah, so that was all the differences I can find after like all the detailed scanning I can do. Soon now the links pop up, so you can just keep clicking on those to follow the videos. And if you get any information about any of the further trial issues I've not seen yet, just let me know in the comments so I can have a browse. That would be pretty good. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope to catch you soon.